Hello and welcome to the Coffee with the Dean of Engineering Q&A session. We have the Don Beal Dean of Engineering, Cheryl Ehrman, and we also have our Associate Dean, Ginny Rhee. Now we just want to go over a few brief tidbits. We're going to have a little housekeeping, a brief overview of certain functionalities of Zoom, and we will also have our Q&A where you can ask Cheryl Ehrman and Ginny Rhee some questions about engineering. So down at the bottom area of the Q&A, we have a Q&A button where you can try and submit questions, and we will try and answer them as they were posted. We also have a raise hand functionality where you can raise your hand and I'll be monitoring that and trying to unmute you. I will announce your name and unmute your microphone. We may not immediately get to you. So if you have a question, make sure to write that down so that you don't forget it. And I'll try and unmute you in the order that we see it. We also have a chat functionality where you can use it to make comments or chat with others. We can see that and we'll be monitoring that. So please use appropriate language. This Q&A session is designed to help students and parents learn more about our program. And now I'm going to pass it off to our dean.
Oops, maybe I should start the video. Sorry about that. Okay, it says I can't start the video, but maybe I'll just start by welcoming everybody. And Sebastian, hopefully you can troubleshoot that. So my name is Cheryl Ehrman, and I'm the Don Beal Dean of the College of Engineering. And I think, there we go, now I've got video. I just want to thank everybody for giving us some of your time this Saturday morning to join us for this Zoom info session. As Sebastian, who's our wonderful technical assistant, mentioned, I'll be joined on this session by Ginny Rhee. And so I'd just like to introduce myself a little bit. I am, as I mentioned, the Dean of Engineering. I've been at San Jose State. I'm in my third year now, and I grew up in San Jose. I am a graduate of chemical engineering at another university, and both my degrees, graduate and undergraduate, are in chemical engineering. And I like teaching freshman design and senior design and thermodynamics. And also I've done a lot of research in materials processing and air pollution. I'll let Ginny Rhee introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. I'm the Associate Dean of the College of Engineering, and my background is in mechanical engineering. I came to San Jose State in 2002, so I've been here quite a while. And in my current role, I oversee the undergraduate programs in the college and also some of the operations and facilities in the college. Yeah, I'm really excited that you're all here to join us and look forward to your questions.
All right, thanks, Ginny. So I'd like to just give some overview about the college. There is also a video that's posted on our Admittance Spartan Day, and I'd encourage you to look at that as well, but I'll try to give some information that might be in addition to what's already in the video, plus some basic fun facts about the college. So our college has been around since 1946, right after World War II. We are celebrating our 75th anniversary of the College of Engineering next year. And we like to think of ourselves as always having the right engineer at the right place at the right time. So I think that if you think about the history of Silicon Valley, our college has contributed the right folks with really great ideas long before Silicon Valley was ever in existence. And we've always supported our regional economy, and we're really proud of that. To do that, we have 13 engineering disciplines at the undergraduate level, from aerospace to electrical, biomedical, mechanical, chemical, computer, software, and more. So we have about 7,000 students as of our head count from last fall, and we have about 340 faculty and staff that work together with the students to learn and to work and to make things. As a result, we graduate about 2,000 students into the workforce or into graduate school every year, and we provide more entry-level engineers to Silicon Valley than any other company. So really proud about that. If we think about what happens In our classrooms, we've got student to faculty ratios, thinking this might be a question that might come up, that would range depending on the program. So it might be anything from 16 or 17 students to faculty for a smaller program like aerospace or materials engineering, up to about 30 students per faculty for programs like computer engineering and software engineering. We are a proud leader in terms of graduating students of color. And also in first generation students. This is really important to us. Money Magazine ranked us, I think, #4 in the nation for social mobility, which again is part of the overall mission of the California State University system. And then also with respect to female students, we are really fortunate in that we have lots of great role models. So we've got Ginny and me, but it's not just 2 people. About 1/3 of our faculty are women in the college, which is one of the highest percentages of any public engineering college in the nation. So yeah, it's not 50-50 yet, but we're getting there. And I want to talk to the students to reach out to you to say that Silicon Valley needs you. So you're going to bring so much to your education, which is going to be a result of your lived experience and your family's lived experience. And that's the kind of diverse engineering thinking that we really need. And we've always needed in Silicon Valley. It's what gives our region the competitive edge that makes it the top region for innovation, really, arguably on the planet. So I think that there's a lot of things that you might have had to overcome as you have moved forward into your studies and move forward into your high school or community college. And all of that is wonderful. And you're going to bring that hopefully to your engineering studies. And when we throw challenges at you along the way, including the challenges of our current circumstances, we're confident in your ability to move through and help us creatively problem solve. I want to just give a couple of examples that are not in the video, and I'm going to talk about 2 of our commencement speakers that we've had recently. The first one I'll mention is a fellow by the name of Mike Grace, and he's from the Gilroy area. He actually didn't go to college right away. He actually didn't finish high school on his first go-round, and he started working in the construction industry. And after some time there, he decided he would go back to school. So he started at Gavilan Community College. And then came to San Jose State to major in mechanical engineering. So he's done incredibly well. His first job was with Lockheed Martin, and then he switched to Applied Materials, and now he's a research and development mechanical systems engineer. But the experience he gained working in the construction industry and all the people skills that he was able to develop gave him an advantage in terms of all of the other things that you need to develop in addition to your technical expertise to move ahead in his career. And it's also really important to mention that he gives back to his community. So if you go to Gavilan College, you might get Mike as your math instructor. So he's a part-time math instructor, and he continues to give back, and we're very grateful. Another one of our recent commencement speakers is a woman by the name of Huy Tran. And she spent her early childhood in Vietnam, and she was fascinated about space. So in 1969, for the moon landing, when she was a small child, she climbed up a tree so she could watch the moon landing through the window of the only home nearby that had a television. And she always dreamed she would work at NASA. So her family had to flee Vietnam, and they ended up in the Bay Area, and she found her way to San Jose State. So she had to overcome not knowing English, she had to overcome adapting to a new culture. And then she came to our university, she studied materials and mechanical engineering, and then she got that job at NASA. And she was able to make all kinds of really exciting advances, including she's been recognized for an amazing material innovation that leads to controlled ablation, which I'd be happy to talk about, maybe, maybe not necessarily in the Q&A, but it makes it possible for our spaceships to survive the re-entry into our Earth's atmosphere. And since 2016, she's been the director of aeronautics at NASA Ames Research Center. So we're so proud of Huy, and she gives back to her community as well. So she's worked with us to set up an internship program, which just launched a few weeks ago, even though everybody's working from home, where we've got a small number of students that have financial need and would be working anyway during the school year. And so they'll work part-time at NASA during the school year and full-time in the summer. So she set that program up over at NASA, aiming specifically at students like ours. So just a few things to think about in terms of the edge that you would get by choosing San Jose State, because I know there's probably many people in the group that are looking at multiple universities. So, you know, we've been recognized by existing sources like US News and World Report as a top school. So we're the #3 public engineering program for schools that have masters and bachelors only. And that's great. I think we're a university where we have a significant number of students, and so we attract a lot of attention from recruiters. It's well worth their time to come and meet with our high number of wonderful and diverse students. But we're also small at the same time. So between the experiences within your major or your experiences within student clubs, you can experience small community as well as big community. We're a great value. I think the CSU's value just is amazing in terms of the cost of tuition and fees versus the quality of the education. And then I want to stress one more point that really sets us apart, especially if folks are looking at Polytechnic type or Institute of Technology type universities. We're a comprehensive university. So engineering is 1 student out of every 5 on this campus. But if you think about the really interesting challenges that are ahead of us, they're going to be solved by engineers working with people from very broad disciplines. And so I'll give a couple of examples of things that students can participate in now on our campus. So we have a program that's called Health Interventions for Minority Males, or HIMM. And there, engineers are working with public health faculty, nursing faculty, and sociology faculty to help improve health outcomes. So there's a lot of talk in the news today about disparate health outcomes, especially concerning this pandemic. And I think understanding and trying to figure out solutions to mitigate those, that's an important societal challenge that we need to address. Another one that's underway on our campus is our Deep Humanities initiative. And so we have folks from all different parts of our campus coming together and bringing in people from off campus to have conversations around technology. So as technology advances, it's important to not just think about it from a pure engineering perspective, but to really think about the human side of it. There's a history of complicated decision-making, I think, around the advancements in technology, and maybe we can argue it hasn't always gone very well. And I want to use one example, which is really controversial right now, which is thinking about automation and the future of work. And so, you know, if we've got students that are coming into the university and you're coming in and you've got backgrounds where maybe you've done work in manufacturing on the manufacturing line, or your family has done that, maybe it was part of the food processing industry or in the printed circuit board assembly that we've had so much of in the history of our valley, or you're on teams with folks that share these experiences, you're going to take a little different perspective when it comes into decision about how much automation do we put into processes like warehouses or manufacturing. You know, I've been seeing on the news interesting footage from some of these food processing plants where people are becoming ill because people are chock-a-block next to each other, and it would be nice to see maybe some more automation there so people could spread out and be safe. But you also want to think about the people and what's going to happen to them. And so with our Deep Humanities initiative, we have ways to get people together to think about the intersection of people, technology, and even the environment. So it's just a more broad way of thinking, which hopefully will lead us to better technological outcomes. So I just wanted to give those examples of why I think it's great to be at a comprehensive university and studying engineering. And then things to think about no matter where you go. This fall is not going to be like our previous fall. No university in America's fall will be like our previous fall. It's going to be more important than ever to join clubs. You're going to want to connect with your fellow students, but it might be through little rectangular boxes, or it might be through very limited in-person interactions. So take that time to connect with each other and think about student clubs, whether it's a professional society in the discipline that you've chosen for your major, like the Institute, the IEEE, the Institute for Electrical Engineers. Think about affinity societies like the Society of Women Engineers, or the Society of Asian Scientists and Engineers, Society of Latino Engineers and Scientists. Think about contest teams. You know, if you're a person that's a little bit of a gearhead like me, we have a formula SAE team that's amazing. And they're still having contests. Right now, it looks like it'll be a virtual design contest, but it's a great way to get your feet wet and really see applications of engineering. And then my other advice is to please check out the rest of our programming today within engineering. And then also there's programming all throughout the week for various different parts of campus. So you can really explore all the options available for you here at San Jose State. So with that, I'll stop and I'd be happy to answer questions together with Ginny.
So Cheryl, looks like we have a question in the Q&A from Jason on VU. The question is, how do I make friends as a commuting student? If I want to go to grad school, do I have to work on my own engineering projects? So perfect segue into that question.
Yeah, I think we could both address that. Do you want to start?
Sure, I would say the majority of our students are commuting students, in fact. And just like Cheryl said, I would say look at some clubs that might be interesting for you to join. We have all sorts of different clubs that do all sorts of different activities and have all sorts of different goals. So there's got to be one that is a fit for you. We have over 60 student organizations in the College of Engineering, and there are many more throughout the university as well. So I think that would be one surefire way of making friends. Our curriculum is very heavily project-based, so you are going to have to work on teams whether you live on campus or not. So you're just going to have to figure out the best way to do that. Anything to add to that, Cheryl?
Yeah. So I'm going to actually point to your picture, Ginny. So when we can get, which this is pretty awesome, actually. I'm glad you picked that background. When we can get back to having activities on campus, we think about, so like Ginny said, most of our students are commuter students. We do have some dorms. There's, I think, one picture of a dorm that you can see in there. But we think about how students can have space where they can work together. And so directly kind of just to the left of Ginny's head is our library. And the library is, when we're in normal operation, is chock full of engineers. And from Sunday morning until Friday night, it doesn't close as long as you have a San Jose State student ID. And so for people that don't want to take their project team back to their house and wake their family up when they're trying to work maybe a little bit late into the night, they can go to the library. And then for students' health and wellness, we have our rec center that's about a year old. And then we also have a great student union with just lots of space. So we really try to be intentional about that.
Yeah, and I'll just add that a lot of our student clubs have their own club room. So that's a place that you can study when you're on campus. We've got machine shops that are open to students and our makerspace, of course. And most of the departments have project build space as well. So those are other facilities that you can take advantage of. Okay, next question from Will Quinlan. School impaction. How easy is it to get the classes and times when you want them to stay on track to complete electrical engineering degree in 4 years, both general ed and EE major classes?
Yeah. So I would say that we think about engineering. So engineering, all the different majors are majors that we would consider, the phrase in academic speak is tightly scaffolded. So there is a very strict sequence that needs to be followed to complete a degree in 4 years. And there are what we call critical path courses. And so we do everything that we can to make sure that we've got seats in critical path courses as students move through the program so that doesn't hold you back. And then, there could be challenges if there's one elective based on the faculty expertise that's available to teach that elective. And if we may not be able to offer infinite number of seats in a particular elective, but that isn't a class that students would necessarily need to get through the program. So I'll just be frank about it. But for the critical path ones, we really want to move people through and not have people slowed down because of lack of seats.
And I'll add that a lot of the bottlenecks that we know about also are in the lower division, like the calculus series in particular. So I would say pay attention to that. If you're coming in as a freshman and you've taken AP Calc in high school, make sure you take the exam and send us your scores. That's going to be very important. And if you haven't taken AP Calc, make sure you pay attention to those emails you're getting about calculus placement. So you really want to get into that calculus class your first semester if you were ready for it. If you're still at the pre-calculus level, no problem. We've got classes for you. but don't brush it off and think it's unimportant. Okay, I think I saw a raised hand. Sebastian, you want to help us with that question?
Yep. So talking's permitted.
Sure.
It looks like, oh, here, unmute. Go ahead and try talking.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Hi. I just had a quick question in regards to more of like the living in San Jose State. Can you kind of explain like food plans and how the housing is over there in terms of affordability?
Yeah, so for the specifics, I would refer you, we have information from Student Affairs, and Student Affairs oversees our dormitories. I think it's almost between 4,000 and 5,000 dormitory beds, if I'm not mistaken. And we do have meal plans. Oh, okay, so yeah, and Sharon Wiley in Student Affairs will be having information about that.
Okay.
Yeah, we may be doing a little bit of this as the Q&A comes through, trying to send folks to the places to get the more specific questions answered, or the questions that are actually not necessarily specific, but they're outside of the academic engineering type field.
Housing will have a session webinar Tuesday at 5 p.m. So
oh, great.
You
Okay.
can get more information there.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, next question is from Jessica Schmock. What is your job placement rate for a BS in mechanical engineering? Yeah, I can definitely take that question. We do a senior exit survey every spring, and it's just about to go out this semester, as a matter of fact. So we do the survey in April, and we survey all of our graduating seniors, and we ask them if they have a job lined up related to their field when they graduate at this point in time. And normally the response for mechanical engineering is around, if I remember, it's around 35%. That being said, I think most of our mechanical engineering grads are successful within 6 months after graduation. So we don't have that number specifically. But the fact that 35% of them already have something lined up in April before they graduate, and also we know that 50 or 60% of them participate in some kind of internship before they graduate, indicates that they are in a really strong position when they leave our programs. Also, about 10% of mechanical engineering grads go on to graduate school. So it's not like they don't have a plan after their bachelor's degree. They just aren't going directly into industry yet. Okay, here's one from an anonymous attendee for Cheryl, I think. 15 to 17 student to teacher ratio average for engineering classes. What is the average for lectures and labs in engineering classes?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, the smaller majors are going to have a lower student to faculty ratio. So it's more like 16 or 17 for aerospace engineering or materials engineering. And then it goes up for other majors that are a little bit crowded, where it's actually really a little challenging to hire faculty because of competition from industry, if you can imagine software engineering. And so if I think about lectures and labs, so under normal operations, labs, we have to keep them small. So, appropriate to the size compared to the amount of facilities we have, but also just small because you want to have a lot of time for the instructors to walk around and work with the students in small groups or one-on-one. So lab sizes might be on the order of 20 students. Lectures, we don't really have an average lecture size that I can point to, but that might range from 20 students up to maybe 80 or 90 students for a few of our classes. I'm proud that we don't have any 800-person computer programming classes. That's not our way at San Jose State. We really are student focused in a sense of wanting to have students get to know our instructors, and our faculty and instructors get to know our students. Anything to add on that, Ginny?
I would just add that a lot of our big classes get split up into smaller lab sections.
Yeah.
So you might be in a big lecture section with 250 other students, but then you'll have a lab section with, I don't know, 20 students or maybe even 15 students. So then you'll get to connect with your lab instructor and your classmates in your section.
Okay, I see the next question. So from Ryan, and that's, can we tell even preliminarily how will college be different at San Jose for this coming fall? So this is a really tough question for us. We've gone through just in the past 5 weeks an incredible amount of effort to be able to maintain educational continuity by putting everything online. So the only thing I can say with certainty is that it won't look like our fall that we had just last semester. And it's interesting, San Jose has a history of being very in-person given where we are and how technologically advanced our region is. But we really do like our in-person, and we're doing a lot of thinking about how to maintain the quality given that at best we may have limited in-person interactions, but also keeping in mind that we may have some members of our student community or even our faculty community that may have conditions that might prevent them from being here in person. So we're just doing our best to plan for that. We are very respectful of our county and state public health. We have to obey their guidelines. But that said, I do want to stress a really important point that it's very significant for us. So again, as I mentioned, we're a very hands-on kind of place. And I am very hopeful that, so we're probably, I'll just say preliminary, it's going to be different this fall, and it may be different in spring, depending on the timelines of some of the solutions that folks are thinking about to try to get us to a return to normal state. That said, if you're an incoming transfer student, you've got 4 semesters at a minimum, maybe a little longer, depending on what you've taken at your community college before you're done. And so within those 4 semesters, hopefully the first two are a little bit off. And then in terms of being able to do all the in-person and hands-on things that we love to do here, but we're gonna do our best. And then we're gonna hopefully get back to an operation where you will be able to get right into that machine shop or right into that electronics lab and continue forward. And if you're coming to get your undergraduate degree as a freshman, then that's even longer to really experience the full hands-onness. And then the other thing that we are realizing is that we're actually, by having to go to this online mode right now and potentially a lot of online or all online for fall, depending on what the public health circumstances look like, you're actually developing the skills that you're going to need to get out there and work in a global engineering environment where you may be working remotely because you've got teams on 3 continents trying to solve problems together. So, you know, maybe your teams might be in 3 different neighborhoods as you're all Zooming together to work on a class project, but it's still the same technology and approach to a different style of communication. So I'm trying to be optimistic. You know, Ginny and I, we're actually very hands-on engineers ourselves, I think, when you look at the stuff that we've done over our careers. And so, yeah, we're really eager, but anyway, so that's the best I can do. I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, we're just working on being prepared right now. So we're planning for various scenarios, and we'll just have to wait and see what we're allowed to do and what would be prudent for us to do.
Yeah, these are great questions, by the way. Thank you so much.
Yeah, wonderful questions. Okay, next question is, how do we connect with the International Students Club, like Industrial Technology Club? Okay, there is an international student organization that is outside of our college. I would imagine that they have a website. Our associated students oversee all of the student organizations on campus. So I would just search for their website, either directly or through our associated students page. The Industrial Technology Club, so I would just talk to the department chair. He would be able to connect you. And we also have some wonderful staff who oversee our student programs. So you might go check out the presentation by EASE, E-A-S-E. It's posted on our website, and you might be able to get some more information about it there.
Yeah, I think Industrial Technology is going to run a student panel also later today.
Yeah, forgot about that. Yeah, great. Okay. Next question from Simi. I am coming in as undeclared who is interested in engineering major for first year. Can I take engineering requisites along with general ed? Can you please talk about pathway for undeclared students transitioning? Yeah, sure, I'll take that. We do have, I'm assuming this is an undeclared freshman. Yes, because you said first year. You're going to be getting advising from our campus advising organization when you come to orientation. It's called AARS, Academic Advising and Retention Services. So make sure you let them know that you're interested in changing major into engineering, and they'll put you on the engineering study plan. So definitely I would try to get into the highest level math class that you qualify for. And go look at our website. We have roadmaps for all of our degrees posted, and you should be able to see what most students in your major take during their first semester here. And I would try to get into those same classes. And then as soon as you're able, when our semester opens up, come visit our Engineering Student Success Center and sign up for that change of major advising. And they'll walk you through the procedure needed to change your major.
Right, I see another question again about fall 20 compared to fall 2019. Yeah, so I can tell you what our college life looks like now. So we right now we're completely remote instruction based, and so the students are interacting with their professors via different remote teaching modes. So Zoom, we've got things through our learning management system also. There's been some interesting comments where some students might be more comfortable with interacting through chats anyway, and so that the student engagement has actually gone up for some classes compared to how it's been historically. So I think that's another interesting side effect. And then, but it's been interesting trying to have everybody get up to speed on using all of these. We do plan for a lot more training over the summer, so we were basically given about a week to put everything online. Now we've got more time to plan. But frankly, the college life, if we stay with completely remote, is going to be interesting in terms of trying to get engaged. That's why I'm strongly recommending joining clubs, so that you can build community with people that you're not going to be able to necessarily see in person, or even if we can have limited in-person interactions, see frequently in large groups and all of that. So that's why I think that the extracurricular activities are going to be really super important. And this is depending, this is wherever you end up going to college, but we do have plenty to choose from here at San Jose State. And I know that our student clubs are really supporting their club members too, as we try to move forward in this.
Okay, next question is AE doing any presentation on Zoom this week? No, so unfortunately they are not going to have a live event this weekend. Number 2, is it possible that our registration date can be adjusted? I'm an incoming transfer for AE and I can't register for classes until the orientation. Okay, so that's traditionally been the case. If you're anxious to get started, I would go ahead and email the department chair. He's normally very responsive, and he'd be happy to take a look at your transcript and recommend the class that you should register for. So as soon as your registration date opens, you'll be able to sign up for classes right away.
Oh, okay. So maybe I'll take the next question.
Okay.
Yeah, so do professors teach lectures or TAs? So we have TAs that assist in laboratory classes, but we have our faculty and instructors teaching our lectures. We're part of the California State University system, and so we have a heavy focus on teaching. We do some research, but the balance between research and teaching for our faculty is quite different than it might be at some other universities in the Bay Area. So office hours are, obviously they're happening now remotely, but the faculty I would consider our faculty very available for students outside of classes. We have really great relationships that form between the students and the faculty, just in terms of being able to develop mentoring relationships and supporting them throughout. So I think we're very, again, as I mentioned before, we're a very student-focused university.
Okay, I applied for housing and would like to know the status. How can I look this up? I tried to log into the housing portal last night, but it wouldn't let me in. Let's see, I guess, again, we'll refer you to the housing presentation that's later this week. But I actually had a meeting with them yesterday, and I think they haven't finalized all the housing assignments yet. So I would just hang tight a little bit longer. I don't think they're ready to unveil that yet.
Right, so the next question is about important clubs associated with mechanical engineering. I would really suggest to take that question to the mechanical engineering presentation, because they have their disciplinary clubs, and then they also have a lot of contest type things. So maybe Ginny can add more though, because you are a mechanical engineer.
Yeah, I know they have ASME, of course. And then they have ASHRAE, which is heating, refrigeration, and air conditioning. They have a Mechanical Engineering Honor Society. And then, of course, they participate heavily in a lot of the multidisciplinary clubs like Formula SAE. Yeah, they're not coming to mind right now, but we have a ton. Yeah, the Robotics Club, Mini Baja, Human Powered Vehicle.
Yeah, definitely a lot of clubs. All right, so the next question about, do the engineering departments collaborate with businesses in the Valley? And the answer is yes. So we have a lot of different interactions with companies. So there may be small research projects or even big research projects that we do with companies where students are participating. And then we have lots of interactions between our student clubs and companies, between our career center and companies. So yeah, we like to think we're pretty well plugged in. It's really great for students.
Okay, let's see. I was accepted for civil engineering. Is there still a possibility to change to mechanical engineering for fall 2020? So not by the time you get here, but if that is your desire, I would let the advisors know when you come for orientation this summer and get on the mechanical engineering track. If you're a freshman, they don't really differ that much for your first semester. So it's not going to matter all that much. You'll just have to get on the freshman study plan and apply to change your major as soon as you're eligible. If you're a transfer student, we'll have to take a more detailed look at your transcript to see what your path forward would be.
Right, the next question is about internship opportunities for students who have finished their first or second year. So I would say that the answer is yes. I think it's a little easier for students that have finished 2 years versus finished just 1 year. And students really need to be proactive about working with our career center and making sure that they don't miss any opportunities to go to a company info session or even look for networking opportunities through other venues to help get the internships. But yeah, there are first and definitely a lot of second year students that do get internships.
And I would even add that we encourage all of our freshmen and sophomores to start exploring careers that go with your major and even going to the career fairs that early.
Yes.
Just so that you get an idea of what comes after school. And you can start aligning your course choices to your eventual career plans.
All right, so next question is another question about change of major. So I think that was addressed earlier. We've got a 5-minute warning. Yeah, so there is a procedure to follow, and I think the first step is to come to our Engineering Student Success Center. Research opportunities. So there are research opportunities for our students because our faculty don't do as much research. Maybe you could argue there's not as many research opportunities, but our faculty are very used to working with undergraduate students in research, which may not be the case at a lot of research intensive universities. where they would rather have doctoral students or postdocs. So I think that, students should start talking to the faculty in their major if they're interested in joining a research group. So the next question is about the academic calendar and will the fall session start late? So the answer to that is no. So we're just not sure about what fraction would be online versus limited in person, but it'll start at the time that it says. And then the next one is about a transfer student and how long to degree. Maybe I'll let Ginny take that one.
Yeah, so this question is, it depends. It depends how many of the lower division prerequisites you've completed already. As Cheryl mentioned earlier, our degrees are very scaffolded. We have a long prerequisite chain, so just because you've taken 60 units doesn't mean that you can get out of here in 2 years. That was maybe not so specific, but yeah, please feel free to email your advisors and your department chair, either at orientation or before orientation.
Yeah, so I know we're running out of time and I see several questions that are actually around four-year graduation rates. So I just want to stress that so if you take 15 credits and you're able to start in the first calculus class, Calc 1, in that first semester, we want to make sure you've got the seat. So that won't hold you back. Our graduation rate for four-year graduation is about just under 20%, but I want to add that most of our students, the reality is that they're working part-time jobs, and in some cases, the number of hours that our students may be working is actually kind of stretches into closer to a lot of part-time hours to even full-time. And so a lot of our students are not taking 15 credits per semester. And if you are able to do the 15 credits per semester and you stay on the four-year roadmap, then you will graduate in 4 years. And we've been seeing increasing numbers of students that are able to do this. And so it's tough because I understand the challenges of trying to pay for the costs of your education. So these are things to think about, in particular when you're trying to decide about, are you going to work and how much are you going to work versus maybe some student debt options. So definitely, it's definitely possible.
Also, I'll add, there are going to be advising sessions for FROSH and transfer students on Thursday. So if you have more specific questions, I would highly recommend that you log in there. I mean, our academic advisors will be staffing them, and they'll be expecting all of these academic transfer and equivalency questions there.
Yeah, and I see a lot of questions that are really specific to majors about mechanical engineering and mechatronics or electrical engineering. So I highly encourage you to check out the other departmental info sessions today. So I think it's only aerospace that isn't doing a live Q&A, but the other ones are. And as Ginny mentioned, our aerospace chair, Professor Murtos, is really responsive to student emails.
Okay. All right. Oh, go for it.
Yeah, so on that note, we're running out of time. That's pretty much all the time we have for this session. Thank you for all of your excellent questions. If you have any further questions, please email them to engineering@sjsu.edu. At this time, I'd like you to exit this meeting and go visit one of our other sessions that Ginny and Cheryl have just mentioned. We have several different departments all having their sessions today, so please go join another one. It's not unusual for you to start school in one department and end up in another. So thank you for your time and congratulations on being accepted as a Spartan. We look forward to seeing you in the fall.
Yeah, echoing that, congratulations, and like Sebastian said, we hope to see you in the fall. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for joining. The questions were coming in faster than we can answer, so we're really sorry.
All right.
All right,
Thank you.